It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the Sam Lesante Show. It's the Mayor's Report. We're here at the Mayor's office in Pottsville. Mayor Dave Clews giving you an update of what's happening in the city. And remember, what happens in Pottsville affects all of the different areas. But before we go into the show, you know, folks, doing these shows, we depend on sponsors. And first of all, let me tell you that we're very thrilled to have, if you know, the Republican Herald. That is our media sponsor, and we're very media partner. Republican Herald, everything you need to know about Schuylkill County. I wrote it down here, all the news, sports, and shopping information in one spot. Now, you want to subscribe. These are, you know, this is a paper that keeps you informed. And, you know, we have people here that also support us. Bob Weaver Chevrolet has been one of the strongest supporters for local information, as well as my good friend Vito Valente, Vito's Fire and Coal Fire. 12-0 Dave, been a supporter from day one. And Attorney Holman, and of course Carmela's Roman Delight, and all the other people that you see on our advertising here in the show. We appreciate that very much. 24/7, ssptv.com. Get all the information. And once again, my email, sam@ssptv.com. And I appreciate some of the emails, and positive and negative. Really appreciate that. So I'm here with Dave Clews, who is the mayor. David, how are you?
Doing well, Sam. Doing well. Still the mayor and still here.
It's amazing that you're still the mayor. How the heck did you get away with that so far? The city of Pottsville, you know, I go, you know, if you see me at Vito's or at Carmela's or whatever, they'll come up and say, you know, how the city's going. And one of the things that I wanted to do, and we talked about this, Dave, is to try to keep people informed of what's happening, because people have a lot to do during the day. They have their own jobs. You know, you don't get up in the morning and say, well, I wonder what the city of Pottsville is doing today. You were concerned about your own things. But I think having these shows brings a lot of information. Today we have a great guest coming on, too, John Marsh. What are some of the things that are positive that's happening in the city of Pottsville so far? You must be saving a lot of money with the mild winter we're having, correct?
Absolutely. We were just discussing this the other day. You know, I try and get in here quite often, sit around what I call the war table, and, you know, catch up on what's going on and where we're going and things we can plan for. And we were just talking about the other day what a mild winter we've had. I hope to, before the end of March, do a State of the City address publicly. I was talking to Tommy Whitaker in our street department, who you've met, and said, Tom, how many miles of street should we pave this past year? And he said, well, Dave, it's not as impressive a number as it has been because of how cost went up and we had to, you know, shorten some of our projects. He said, but you can always talk about the $250,000 in paving we did last summer. So, you know, we're spending the money. And this year, because of a mild winter, where we typically get about 4 to 5 loads of salt and cinders in, this year we're at about a third of that, if even that much. So, of course, worked into the budget for what we would typically do, and with a soft winter, now we have kind of some extra budget money there. So our plan is to move that into street paving projects. You know, it's nice when you have that extra in the budget that you can do something with that people can actually see. And of course, being are you the mayor, I have a pothole guy, you know, when they see holes being filled and streets being paved, it's pretty obvious. So we're looking to move some of that budget money that way.
Could you take some of that money, not to interrupt, can you take some of that money and put it towards the lights that you want to buy? Or is that a separate category?
Well, that's a whole separate thing, you know,
it?
and you know, as you know, I'm working on my pet project of Christmas lights, which surprisingly, not as much surprisingly, it's one of those hometown pride type of things that is really happening here in Pottsville right now. So many businesses, you know, of course we're soliciting for funds, but so many businesses have come up with creative ways to raise money for it.
Good.
The Park Tavern does Wednesday and Thursday cheesesteaks, $2 of which each cheesesteak goes towards lighting. He just told me he's going to do a golf tournament this spring, so some funds to maintain the lights.
Good.
Another sub shop's doing $3 off their large subs. The Hydrangea Tea in Garfield Square is doing special teas that they're selling. We've got Piccadilly doing the extra large subs. Loki and Layla, the candle shop, is doing 2 special scent cameras. Vince's garage out on Peacock Street is also doing a fundraiser for it. He's not quite sure what he's doing yet, but so many businesses have come forward with creative ways to raise money towards it, and individuals stopping by my shop, picking up a form and dedicating a donation in memory of a family member.
That's great. Yeah.
So it's been really positive and keeps picking up week by week.
Dave, there's nothing like going into a city around Christmas time, and seeing all the lights and just put you in the mood. It looks so great. And the only time I want it to snow is Christmas Eve. That's it. After that, no more snow. Just nice weather.
Just for the photo ops, right?
Just for photo. Yeah, I think it's great to have the lights and that stuff. Moving on to the fact that you're saving, which is great. So we have an Irishman. I think his name is St. Patty. Do you ever do anything to celebrate this?
For years the AOH here did a parade and some events around town. And like a lot of those type of organizations, their numbers have dwindled. So they came to the Pottsville Business Association, the city, and said, can you help us out? We haven't, with COVID and everything, we haven't had a St. Patty's Day parade for a while. So PBA really took the lead on it, the Business Association. And on the 11th, we're going to return a St. Patty's Day parade to Pottsville, complete with several bands, bag type of things, floats, and we're looking to bring back a great day. And on the same day, our first train excursion out of Reading's coming into town.
Oh, good, yeah.
So they'll be coming in time for that. And we have another young entrepreneur who has set up a whole bunch of craft vendors going to be there when the train comes in. I think he has about 40 last I heard. So a lot of excitement happening on that day. And then we got a whole season of train rides coming in.
How many people come in on the train at one time?
Well, it started in the 60s and 70s as far as a number, and I think we're going to start averaging over 100 people or better on the train coming up. So
coming in from Reading?
They come up from Reading. Yeah, they get on the train in Reading, come up.
Specifically to come to Pottsville?
Come to Pottsville, tour the brewery, tour Jerry's Classic Car Museum, the Schuylkill County Historical Society, and then of course we have a whole slew of restaurants downtown now that they can pick from to have something to eat. And on this day, they're going to get to see our St. Patty's Day parade.
You said something, and I apologize. We have, excuse me, Explore Schuylkill, my friends. You see their commercials. They do a great job. There's so many things. When I'm watching the commercials that we make for Explore Schuylkill, there's so many things to do in Schuylkill County. It's amazing, and so coming in from Reading and all these people, they have a lot to do.
Oh yeah, we often forget all the things that we have here in town. I know I've had the luxury last year. I met every train that came in, welcomed them to my hometown, told them while they were in town to take as much in as they could, take a time to look at the beautiful architecture here in our town. I mean, when you're walking along the street and you're looking at storefront level, that's one thing. We have a lot of nice storefronts and great buildings. But when you look up at some of these buildings and realize the old architecture, we got something special here.
You know what we got to do, Dave? I did it with John Riley, and it was a good. We started up here, and we took a walking tour, went down Center Street, and as we were going down, he was telling me about different things. We saw different stores and the statue down there.
Henry Clay.
Yeah, and it was interesting, and it was like a downtown visit of Pottsville, and I thought it was very informative. We got to do that maybe in the summertime.
Absolutely.
Okay. Folks, I'm talking to Dave Clews. It's called The Mayor's Report, Sam Lesante Show. And hey, incidentally, thank you so much for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. That comes from a scientific poll from Susquehanna Polling and Research. They were rated the #1 polling company in the United States. And we're very happy that those results came in. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. And once again, thank you for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. From our scientific poll taken by Susquehanna Polling and Research, voted the #1 polling company in the United States. And as you know, we're here at the mayor's office. Once again, I want to thank those sponsors who are sponsoring with us. Explore Schuylkill, been one of our major supporters. Now, the mayor brings on different guests, and I'm happy to have John Marsh here. John is the owner, along with Alex Shavinsky, right, on the chopping block.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is not where you have the food and you chop it up. This is something else. This is where you take an axe and you throw it at something. Now, you have a lot of pictures of Dave Clews there, which is great. You know, you're going to do wonders with that. You know, so tell me first a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm actually a transplant. I'm from Biloxi, Mississippi. I married into Pottsville recently. I married a local girl, Liz Perdue. It's her maiden name.
Okay.
And I've made Pottsville my home.
Any children?
On the way. We're actually expecting right now. Yeah. So
terrific.
We're due in June.
Boy or girl?
Girl.
Girl. Samantha's a nice name.
Yeah.
you know, after me. Okay. So well, that's great. That's great. So you came here because you met your wife here, right?
I met her at Penn State. I'm prior service, so I was active duty Marine Corps for 8 years.
Oh, thank you for your service.
You're welcome. And met her at Penn State and just followed her around after that until she said yes.
Yeah, that's good. So what your background in the chopping block? Tell me about how that came to be. I was telling you, I interviewed a girl who was the champion axe thrower. So you're throwing axes around, right?
That's right. So what we saw in our friend group, Alex and Sammy and Liz and I were sitting around, and we noticed that a lot of times when we want to do something and engage each other, social entertainment, we were having to leave Pottsville. And that's something we didn't want to do, you know, and we want to be a contributing member to the ongoing redevelopment efforts that are taking place right now.
Good for you.
And it's a great time to do that. Yeah. We felt that social entertainment was a little underserved here, and so we saw a need and we're going to fill it. We felt that axe throwing kind of fits the Schuylkill County vibe. We think it's going to be very successful here. The need is social entertainment. Axe throwing is the mechanism. So we felt that there was something that we need to be that bridge. So Yingling's our big draw, right? That brings in 100,000 people plus a year. We have the trains coming in. What we want to help bridge that gap and continue to not only get people to come to Pottsville to see all the great things that are going on, but to keep them here a little bit longer.
Okay, so now when I'm thinking of axes, I mean, I'm thinking they're pretty heavy. You know, picking up. Are they heavy?
They're not. No, you could. They're pretty effortless to throw. Yeah. They're designed that way. They're designed to fly. So, and what we'll do is we'll make sure that everything is as safe as possible.
12 inches? How big are these axes?
They're about 12 inches in length. They do vary. They weigh less than 5 pounds.
How safe is the place? I mean, safety-wise.
It's our #1 priority. So not only will every single group, every single person that comes in there be trained, they'll also have a designated, what we're calling an expert, at their lane to help them and guide them and make sure that they're doing it in a safe manner, but that they can effectively get the axes to stick.
That sounds to be like a lot of fun.
It should be a great time.
Yeah. Are you open now?
We're not. We have a projected opening of mid-April. We're working extremely hard to make that happen.
What are you doing?
So we're going to be located at 370 South Center Street. We purchased that building with the help of the Redevelopment Authority. And I'd be remiss not to thank them, not to thank PADCO and the Launch Pottsville initiative for the help with funding and to help us get on our feet.
So what can I expect when I come into this chopping block, okay? Because it sounds like it's a lot of fun, okay? But then I'm a little nervous about throwing axes around, okay? So tell me the process here when I'm coming in. What happens?
Sure. When you come in, you'll check in with our host or hostess. You'll sign a waiver. You will also be trained before you're left to your own devices there. And we're building it out in a manner where only the people that are throwing are in the area. There's a safety line, a throw line, and a safety line.
Pay a fee to throw the axe, or
Sure. You
and what
come
are you
in.
throwing it at other than a picture of Dave Clews?
Right. Other than that, so we're using a projected target system. So
What do you mean a projected target?
so instead of paint, which I think is most common, our targets actually use projection. So we'll have projectors at every lane, and they'll cast. You'll be able to pick from 100 different games like Connect Four, Tic Tac Toe. You'll be able to throw at a traditional target as well. But there's games like Duck Hunt, so you really never have the same experience twice.
So why did you decide Pottsville for your business?
Well, this is where we live. So Alex is married and has a young daughter, and as we just discussed, my wife and I are expecting two. Who would we be if we're not trying to make the community better for them?
And Alex's wife is Samantha Shavinsky, who is now one of the executives at the Schuylkill Chamber. You've seen her on the show many times at the Chamber show. She does a great job. I wish you the best with it, okay? I mean this. I'm going to come down.
We'd love to have
when
you.
you open, okay? And could you have a picture of Dave Clews there?
We'll have it
And
ready.
Jerry Enders.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have it ready.
Is that right? We'll have Jerry Enders and Dave Clews, okay? And if you hit him square in the head, you get like a teddy bear or something
Sure.
like that.
Well, yeah, there'll be some sort of prize.
Anything
for
in
that.
closing you'd like to say, John?
No, we're very excited. We think it's
So
gonna
when
be,
are you opening, and where is it located at?
So we're going to be located 370 South Center. We're actually right across from the Henry Clay.
Okay. Oh.
So and then we're looking at mid-April. So with construction efforts are ongoing. I'm sure if anybody's driving by there, they see us there all the time.
And I'm sure the mayor will mention it on one of the shows when you're opening up, so I wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Take a break. We'll be back with the mayor right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. Remember, 247ssptv.com. Get all of our shows, 21 and more, all of local neighborhood programming. My email, sam@ssptv.com, and we're here at the mayor's office in Pottsville. Great town, great people. Dave Clews is the mayor. We're doing these shows monthly to try to give you information. Interesting. John Marsh with his chopping block that does a lot for the city. It's interesting. I should go down and throw some axes around.
Sure. They'll be able to project any image up on the targets. So
They have your picture there.
I already submitted yours too. So
Mine?
right away. Yeah.
You'll never see anyone throwing an axe at me. Maybe a lot for you. In fact, I have an announcement to make, my friends. I'm glad you're all watching. We're going to have a major fundraiser in Pottsville.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and listen, he can't say no to this. Major fundraiser. We're going to raise thousands upon thousands of dollars, and we're going to do it live. The mayor, Dave Clews, we're cutting his hair. It's going to be we're going to cut his hair, and we're going to take the hair and sell it, okay, or give it to whomever. What do you think about that, Dave?
Every show you try and talk me into this, and
Don't you care for the people of Pottsville? Don't you have a bleeding heart for trying to bring things to Pottsville? There's a story about the hair, and that's an interesting story, but I like to kid him about it. Talking about the events coming up, we'll have a show before that, but before this, the pool's open. But what's happening in those areas?
we've been working hard with the rec department all the time. Of course, they're getting ready. They're going to be painting the pool shortly. We had a banner year at the pool for attendance this past year, which is always great to see. Hoping to add a new pavilion out there for people who want to get out of the sun sometimes. It's on the planning stage right now. Not too many people know that our pool offers an adaptive swimming program for handicapped and challenged people to use the pool. It's an early in the morning kind of thing before the pool opens, so got some special instructors and help to do that. Like I said, one of the little known services that the city provides in the rec department. We've got our first operational pickleball court that is up and running, so continue to add to different recreation things for people to do in our city. Throughout the summer, we have a whole bunch of different events planned for Center Street between Block of Art, Brew Fest. Of course, every year we can never forget the Great Pottsville Cruise. Second weekend in August, the Humane has taken that over, and And they're finally going to answer the age-old question, at least for the past several years: why do you still call it the Great Pottsville Cruise, since it doesn't roll? And since the Humane took it over, they've made a decision this year that it will be renamed the Great Pottsville Car Show. Okay. So they're advancing that along, keep improving it. It keeps getting better attendance. Soapbox Derby happens in Pottsville too. One of the fastest tracks in the country. Again, one of those secret events that goes on. Unfortunately, like, most news, it's reported on after the fact instead of marketing it going in, which they're working a whole lot harder to do. A special event that people really should come out and support the kids and see the fun they have doing it. So, keeping things active here.
Getting back to the pool, I'm here again. I want to do a story. I want to do a show up there as well. It's a beautiful pool. It's one of the nicest. And there's so many things. Can people have certain, not picnics, but let's assume you have a party. You could have rent certain things if you want to have a.
I'm sure they would take care of that with the pavilions out there, especially if we had the second one.
Yeah. The pavilion, you could go out there and it's like going to a park or something like that.
Because have your whole group or family together for sure.
So many events happening, and that's why we have these shows, my friend, to to give you an opportunity to to participate. I like the idea what they're doing for the lights. You have people participating. That's what I found. Dave. We came here in 1990. You were one of the first, along with Joe Slitzer and a lot of people, Jerry Enders, that saw the need for what we were doing in local television. And, that's why you're, and I hate to say this, you're doing such a great job as the mayor, really. And I think that's, you're very transparent. You don't have any, at least what I could see, okay? And the political nonsense, thank God, I don't see that much of it, but I'm sure you have it, but I think you're doing a great job, and I think you welcome suggestions.
Oh, absolutely. They can always. I try and get in City Hall every day. Some days try and stay out of City Hall, but they can always call and leave a message. I do try and faithfully return calls or emails as much as I can. I'm born and raised here. I've been involved in a lot of things. Right now, there's a great team spirit here in City Hall, and everybody's working together to move forward.
You know what I like about you? Not that much stuff, but I like you're always positive, and that's what I tell people. I hate to be around negative people. I hate to be around people who complain all the time. Get up in the morning and it's one of those kind of but you feel good until you meet a person who's a naysayer, and then all of a sudden you become. But you've always maintained, even though you've had some difficult times here, you've always maintained at least what I see as a positive attitude, and I think that's contagious throughout the City Hall.
Oh, I believe that's true. I've always believed in my hometown, always will. And now there's a whole nother generation. These guys from the chopping block. You've met Clarissa from the Rage Cage. There's a whole nother generation,
which is good,
that are picking up on that energy and that positive spirit.
Yep.
And it's going right to the success for Pottsville.
Good. Well, folks, if you have any comments or any questions you'd like to ask the mayor, sam@sptv.com. We're more than happy to entertain them. And remember, we're always open for constructive criticism. We'll see you next time.